So, now that the wound's been unfucked for the moment...
The rest is up to us. Magni orders are gonna have to rewrite their entire magical playbooks, and include the Alluri in them.
West of the Immortals, huh? That's a right nice stretch of green. Pretty hills, dark groves. Rook'll love groves. They're all gardeners at heart, really.
They deserve more.
Yeah, well, once you started here, it's going to spread.
Lucium will follow our example.
Yeah, sure it will.
Word from Lavenry.
Speak of the devil.
Short version. The king and the dynastic families give their unending thanks.
That's it?
The language used was lovely, yet economical.
No, I mean, did Kirkin...
No word from her at all, sir. The king will recognize your claim as the head of your order, if you ask for it.
She'll come around.
No, she won't.
Yeah, likely not. She never did with me. You and Jack had the right of it, in a way I never did.
Woke up right in time for the compliments. Keep them coming.
There he is.
You look good for someone that exploded.
I got better.
Paid having the Pentasod owe you a favor. Spit you back out the Shrouded Realm good as new. Your legs still seem a bit pudding-foot, though.
Your, friend left when she saw you were on the mend. She said she wasn't sure where she was gonna go.
Yeah, that tracks. So what's next?
Well, plenty of Sandrak loyalists are still out there, running amok and causing trouble, refusing to believe he's really dead. You got any loose ends, kid? Wouldn't expect to tie him up in peace.
And what about the Immortals?
Rasharn's withdrawing back to the front. We'll take advantage of that time and try to rebuild.
And, under your leadership?
I take it you have an opinion on that.
I mean, yeah. I think it should be you.
I see. I was thinking the same thing.
You were? Oh, that's great. Totally should be you, for sure.
Totally.
Awesome, yeah. Shouldn't be me at all, right?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, well that's a little rude.
I mean, that would be the worst thing.
Yeah,
That could
no. Yeah,
Literally
no way,
can't think
right?
Anything
But like,
worse.
why not though?
How?
Like, you haven't even
Than
thought
you
about it?
Being the leader. I mean,
We could.
it's funny though. Listen, it's funny. It's
You know,
funny
we've been through a lot.
I'd love to see it. Well, I don't. Maybe we should try.
A trial.
Just for.
Well, what is that?
Just for
prove?
shits and giggles.
I think I've proven myself more
Yeah,
than
we did.
once. I healed the wound. Grand Magnus?
I'm gonna get used to that. What's on your mind, Initiate?
Believe it or not, I don't do that well without orders.
Interesting. Because you don't do well with orders. But hunt down Sandrak loyalists still active in Lucium and Kalthus. Explore. Hone your skills and strengthen your magic. If you can.
Without the path, how are we going to do selection? To find more Immortals, I mean.
Who says she's gone? You came back.
And I reignited the fonts across Avium.
Right. Including the one the path formed around. I wouldn't write her off just yet. Still, we'll need to rebuild a new fortress around it all.
There's a lot of airship workers in Saren that wouldn't mind a contract like that.
Good idea. I'll have Selko look into it.
Everything happened so quickly that we never had a chance to talk about Devon.
I don't want to. That whole month after the Palathon fell. Our magic gone? The survivors escaping here to Glavegate only to find it under constant siege? Trying to lead all those people without any sign of hope. I made a lot of peace with a lot of things back then, and Devon's death was one of them. He was my friend. He died a hero. That's enough for me.
I get it.
When things settle, maybe I'll visit his family in the Bracelet Isles off the coast of Lavenry. Pay my respects. You should come.
You bet. The whole thing that happened with Kirkin,
I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle that.
what do you mean?
She led our order for decades, Jack. And there's not a general in the Light's army that she doesn't have leverage on. And every one of the Lucian Magni houses owes her some kind of favor.
What? Even after she literally wanted to kill the thing that created their magic?
Time moves on. Things like that get forgotten quicker than you might expect. Lamenting what happened with Kirkin? Not as important as preparing for how she comes at us next.
Thought I'd check in is all.
Nothing to report here. Carry on.
Ambassador Damley,
Hello, Jack.
the Allori have land in Calthus now. They have rights. For them to get the same in Lucium, that's going to be a hard sell to the king.
It's a hard sell to me, and I was here. Deposing Kirkin is one thing. Undoing generations of hate, fear, and mistrust is... You mustn't be naive at this juncture, Jack. The days after victory tend to bend back towards a life that most people want exactly the same as it was before.
You know we can't heal the wound without them.
I believe you. I just want you to realize that happy endings, they end one day.
I have to go, Ambassador. Silas,
Hello, sir.
so, what's next for you?
I've asked the new Grand Magnus for a transfer to the front, sir. My family's still stationed there, and no one knows if Rasharn will truly pull back now. But the airship ride will do me good. Give me time to reflect on things. The battle over the wound, the sight of the living Pentasod.
What about him?
For one, I didn't expect him to be so shredded,
Right?
and it really made me ask myself, if here I am, a lightless idiot, fighting at the end of the world when Kirkin of the Immortals wouldn't, when the Magnus King of Lavenry sent no help or hope, where the Allori, who we've oppressed for so long, still sent both, then why do I think myself lesser compared to the dynastic lords and ladies of magic that failed to show? It's because they made me think that, sir.
Don't forget that when you get to the front, Silas Meade. I'd better go. Your Lordship,
Jack?
we've got a long road ahead of us, rebuilding the Immortals.
And new enemies to shield ourselves against back home. Luckily, I know the game well.
I know I should, but I just don't get that. After what we did for Avium...
Lucium is Lucium before it's Avium, Jack.
See, you say that, it just doesn't stick.
It's because you're good.
That's a nice way of saying I'm naive.
Don't do that. It might not feel like it yet, but you've started a revolution. It's small now because the implications of a human-Allori alliance aren't fully understood. Those implications need good people to see them through. It's my job to do the wicked work needed to make sure that no one stands in their way.
Talk to you later, Hauser. Orphe?
Candle.
When the magic went away, how'd you handle it? I can only imagine how it affected your perception of time.
It was horrible. No one should have to live with linearity. It's like a story with no width. Worse, even.
What do you mean?
Atemporal sight is hard to explain. Imagine a sentence. In Lucium, it's read from left to right. In the spectrum of seers, though, that sentence is multidimensional. It can be moving towards you, or angling outward by 60 degrees, or...
Like spinning on an axis?
Yes. Every sentence a sphere. A book of them like foam. Extrapolate that from the written word to all forms of perceiving the world. The absence of it was almost suffocating.
Sorry, I'm still stuck at book foam.
We're unable to convey how much you have given back to us, Candle.
Good chat, Orphe.
We'd like to give you something. A small relic of the Yokal.
Are you sure? What for?
Just consider it a kindness repaid, my little Candle.
Magister?
Friend!
Headed back north?
That's a good question. I may go elsewhere first. I'm working up the courage to take a trip to the Allori territories, beyond the Immortals.
Really?
My conscience wants me to. My head thinks it's a terrible idea. But a sizable portion of Lucium's great families rely on House Belming to ensure their heirs are born with magic. That means I am directly responsible for some of the wound's growth. A small part, maybe, but not one I can ignore.
Now that you know the truth about the Allori?
Indeed. I hope that they might give me a deeper understanding of the Pentasard's intended cycle of magic, and try to work out the best way to accommodate it on a large scale. And with my influence in the north, I might get some of the great families to listen to that understanding.
That, Magister, that would be, like, so insanely helpful. Thank you. All right, Belming. I should go.